And we are live. Welcome back to the New Earth Project live show. Today, joining me, we have many beautiful beings. We have Flow Network joining us once again. Sarah D, and the homie Tim.
Yep.
And we also joining us tonight, joining in unison. They're joining together in the same screen. Stephanie and Campton. Welcome back, guys. It's an honor to have you here. And tonight we're going to be talking about a very deep topic that we could go on and talk about for hours upon hours. And that is healing emotional wounds. And now before we get into discussion talking about healing those emotional wounds, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And also be sure to join us in our communities on Discord and Telegram. We're having amazing conscious discussions in there. It's really great. It's a great place to hang out. Great place to talk to like-minded individuals, and it's a great place to hang out. So hope to see you in there. And let's get right into discussion about healing emotional wounds. I would like for everybody just to take a deep breath real quick, just to kind of get calibrated and to feel yourself into the space. Give out a little sigh, get relaxed. So emotional wounds, these things go really deep, and they come up a lot whenever they're not healed, and it can have a negative impact on your life and positive impact on your life. So let's begin by going into the why does it happen? Why do we have why do our emotions get tossed around a lot? Like why does this happen on Earth? Why does this happen? So we come to Earth. We come to Earth, and Earth is a low density planet, and it's vibrating. Its core frequency is vibrating, and specifically humans are vibrating as a collective at a lower frequency than what we were all used to. And by coming to this planet, we get tossed into this. We're in this frequency, we're in this vibration, we're in this density. And there's a lot of unconsciousness that exists within this density, and emotions are the main thing emotions is how we experience life here as a human. It's our entire existence. It's experiencing emotions. And since a lot of negativity exists on Earth, it's obviously bound to you're obviously bound to experience negative emotions and get hurt very badly as a young child when you first come here. And these wounds can last up until your whole life. There's some emotional wounds that are never healed, and they go throughout your whole life, and you're unconsciously acting out on these emotional wounds throughout your entire existence. And part of our job here as a human, when we come here, choose to incarnate on this planet, is to heal these wounds, not only in ourselves, but to help others heal their emotional wounds, and to heal these generational emotional wounds that are carried through our DNA. And that's one of our jobs here as a human. And it's a scary thing. It's a very big job. It's a very big responsibility. And I give props to you for that, for choosing to come here, to come to this low density, and to help heal these wounds, help heal these emotional wounds that we've been experiencing for generations upon generations upon generations. So give yourself a little pat on the back for that, for that one. And and yeah, so healing these wounds, it can take a lifetime. It's like peeling the layer. It's like an onion. Healing is like peeling the different layers of an onion. You heal one thing, and you think you're like, oh, I'm super perfect, I'm all completely healed, and then you're like, oh, there's something else comes up, and there's something else to be healed. And it takes time and takes a lot of patience. And tonight, what we're going to be discussing some specific points under the guise of healing emotional wounds is how we individually heal our wounds, and how we've done it and healed some emotional wounds that we've gone through, and some struggles that we've been through, and how we healed from it, how we overcame those struggles and came out of the swamp and navigated through that swamp and healed that. So would anybody like to talk about their process of healing, how they healed their those emotional wounds that would have happened whenever they were a child, or generational wounds? Anybody that would like to go first? Campton?
Right on. It's good to be here, guys. And wonderful intro, Sunny. Great way to put it in the air and get us to question these things, because they're the most important things. As you said, they are the driving force of our life. And while you might not be able to always control your emotions, you can control how you react. And some of the fundamental reactions that I would encourage everyone to impose are, facing these things, accepting that we will be afraid, we will be frustrated, confused, we will feel like we have a lack of ability. And this is the construction and navigation of our ego / shadow structure, and unkinking these wicked machinations in our psychology that have held us down for so long is absolutely necessary if we want to set ourselves free and invoke the truest potential of our emotions at their peak. And this is something I seek for myself, is these peak moments where I've been bound by these emotions for so long, or the feeling of failure or confusion, or combating my identity with like physical skills and actual real world ability to create my life. And seeking these peak moments of breakthrough and eureka that allow me to have this firm paradigm shift in reality. It really shows me that I don't know everything, and that I couldn't possibly know everything, especially about my emotions and myself. And developing my character and finding myself is something that happens over time. And the self is the substratum of awareness that witnesses the ups and downs of the metamorphosis of our character and everything like that. So I would encourage you to reside peacefully in this present moment with an orientation of evolution and trying to grok the fullest wisdom of the emotions that we experience throughout life. So that's my take on that. I guess I'll follow this up with a quick nutshell of a personal experience, which is, I had this emotional identification with an ability to skateboard, right? I had, that was my first little challenge. I said, I'm going to do this no matter what. So it was the acceptance of the path. I knew that I was going to fail and get frustrated and things like that, but I was desperate to find any hold of a reason to live in life. So I chose to face those challenges and feel that sense of breakthrough, which proved to me that there is that inner sense of wisdom and guidance that we can listen to at all times to transform our character and truly evolve. So that's my personal example. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Campton. The acceptance of that wound is the first step. Accepting that it is there and it exists, and it's something that is right, that you're then accepting that it's ready to be healed. That's recognizing it, and that's definitely the first step to being able to heal something. Oh yeah, Steph, would you like to go next? It's here.
Yeah, sorry, I had to hit the unmute button, but thank you for having us and holding the space. Beautifully said, Campton, too. And Sunny, I love the analogy you used where it was like an onion, where it's like you think something's done, but it's like not done. And there's like layers to it. There's layers to healing each wound. And a lot of it's like a matter of what you can consciously or subconsciously like acknowledge and work on and heal at the time. So for instance, like I definitely am still healing emotional wounds that like happened 10 years ago, and I thought that I'd completely moved on from them. But it's like little things, like it's important to be mindful in the sense of like where something kind of triggers you, quote unquote, like to act in that space, to feel that way that you felt back then or something like that as you're continuing to heal and move forward. The way that I've personally for me, a lot of what I had gone through, I had shoved into like a box because like I couldn't talk about it with anybody. There was like nobody around me that I could like talk about it with. And a lot of things like that. And like over the years, I've peeled back like a layer here, a layer there, thought I was great, like whatever, but it's like an onion. The whole thing's an onion. Like healing isn't linear. And I think that's important to remember and not get down on yourself about, in the sense that like life's an entire journey. Like you should, honestly, I think everybody should be working on themselves for the entirety of their life to like make things better, to feel better, to heal those things. Like as you're going forward, in the moment something triggers you, okay, why did I just feel like that? What made me feel like that? Like for me, it's a lot of digging deeper, and you feel this way because this just happened, but this doesn't make sense. Why would I feel this way? And then you kind of like trace back your own psychology in the sense of, okay, well, where did I feel disempowered like this last time? And then it's a matter of kind of addressing something you weren't able to address in that moment. And a lot of it, like you guys mentioned, it is really important to heal our emotional wounds moving forward, because hurt people hurt people. If you ever heard that saying. So I think it's really important to be mindful that like everybody has their own journey that you honestly probably have nothing knowing about, you know what I mean? Like every person on the street, somebody takes something out on you. It's not personal, and in the sense, it's really hard sometimes to kind of like control that urge too, because it's like a matter of like being mindful, and it's a matter of finding out what works best for you. Like breathing techniques sometimes can help me, where I like count to 4, I breathe in, count to 4, hold for 4, and then I breathe out for 4. And I'll do that as many times as it takes me to like feel like back on caliber of like, okay, you know what I mean? And then I'll kind of process that. And like that can be through forms of like journaling, songs, like whatever is going to help you turn that negative into a positive, in my eyes, is like kind of something that helps. Because for me, a lot of what I couldn't like talk about, growing up, is things that I didn't even realize I still needed to work on now. And it's because I had shoved it so far down in the box that I didn't even know it was there. And now these things are coming out of the box, and you're like, okay, well, it's a matter of like going with the flow now, right? Like this thing that I thought I healed isn't, and why. So it's a matter of like always questioning and never getting frustrated with yourself, in my opinion. Because everybody, like, really, I mean, from my perspective, everybody's out here trying their best. Like I definitely am, and I would give everybody else the same benefit of the doubt, in the sense of like you said, Sunny, like the earth is a very low density place. Like it's a very heavy emotional ocean, if you will, of emotions, ocean of emotions. But it is really important, because energy, like emotion, it's like energy in motion, so it's a matter of like controlling and like redirecting your energy from those negatives into positives for me. So that's just me personally. Thanks.
Beautiful, Steph. Thanks for sharing. Thank you so much. What really stuck out for me, for what you were saying, is not letting yourself get frustrated when you're going along that process and along that journey. It can be really easy to be super hard on yourself and get super down on yourself whenever you're recovering from those wounds and healing it, because it takes time, and it definitely doesn't happen overnight. That's for sure. And it can be super easy to get frustrated, because you'll notice that like sometimes like it'll the emotional wound will keep coming up, and it'll keep triggering you, and it's super easy to fall into that place of frustration where like, I thought I healed this, like but over time, like speaking from experience, like I've realized that it's best to just let go of the frustration and to understand that it's a process, and it takes time, even like lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes to people, like to be able to heal something. and just getting frustrated and getting down on yourself and being too hard on yourself about the whole process, it definitely slows down. It slows down the healing process, as you're not able to operate and see it from a different angle, a different perspective. But those are my thoughts on that. So Flow Network, I'm ready for it.
I've emotional wounds. So I've been at this for a while, which actually I had to actually dye my hair white so I could actually look like I was more of a expert on this kind of thing. That's how long I've been at it. So I look at the wounds possibly through a different lens. I look at it through the lens. Absolutely, I love the onion, and I see this as the outer layers of the onion would be my personal patterns that I actually picked up as a function of the choice of parents that I had, my parents, and so I'll work on the stuff that I picked up from my parents, and I'll do that and learn to do that through different breathing techniques or awareness, mindfulness. The whole idea being to allow myself to slow down enough and to step into the wound, as you say, the pattern as it's coming up, which is easily said and difficult to achieve. And what I've come to appreciate over a number of years is that the thin layer, or the outside layer of the onion, tends to be my personal patterns. And then I actually then go a little bit deeper and it becomes my parents' patterns. And I go in there, it's my grandparents' patterns. Then I actually understand it's the ancestors' patterns. And so when I look at comfort, growth, the boxes, as Stephanie you're referring to, the comfort zone, I'm comfortable in the stuff that I already healed. And the difference between comfort zone and growth zone, there's that 2% layer that I'm doing that's just mine. And then I move from comfort, growth to panic, because at that point in time, I'm healing the patterns that it's associated with being a human being that are my ancestors and the people that were and the people that will be, because we're all one. So it's a bit of a journey. And it is why I chose to be here. I don't remember signing up for that particularly, but I've come to appreciate that I must have signed up, because here I am, an expert in this whole affair. And it is a journey that doesn't strike me as ever over. Patterns will come up and you can actually move into them and heal them quite quickly now, once you've been doing it for a number of years. But at the beginning, it's freaking terrifying, because who the hell would have thought that if you actually go and do something you love and it triggers something, because you're outside your comfort zone, it triggers that, hey, you're not allowed to be big. You're not allowed to be successful. You're not allowed to be outrageously you. You have to stay in this box that you inherited from your parents and your ancestors. So it is quite a conundrum, which makes the whole journey of being a human being fun. Which otherwise might just be boring. We come here, we have a great time, and after a while, I always say, if we're out there and we're all into unity and oneness, it's got to be boring after a while, because everything you think of just manifests and you have everything that you want. So why not come in here and actually, get a little bit of contrast and duality? I guess, relatively speaking, that would probably be fun. I just don't remember much about what it was like before.
Apparently we thought it was good.
Yeah, apparently I thought this was going to be a good idea.
And that is, are you finished?
I'm finished. Yes, I'm finished with
that is the reframe in terms of making it positive is, I think sometimes we can get into the healing journey and be really serious and get serious on ourselves. And Steph mentioned about or Sunny, not beating yourself up and being frustrated and being sincere and not serious, as Alan Watts says. And I love that. Because once you're in it, in the deeper emotions, it can feel heavy and serious, and especially with what's going on in the world right now. And it's so easy to get sucked into those things. But it's great, Sunny, and that people are having these conversations, because we weren't educated on emotional intelligence. So we're all here just figuring it out as the world's in a pandemic, and we're like, whoa, and the light is increasing and our consciousness is raising, and that's bringing up all these emotions that we were able to stick in boxes that post COVID and post this world and the way that it is and the way that things are exponentially growing. We just can't push those things in boxes anymore. So everything's getting amplified. And so social media, digital, accelerates and amplifies our consciousness. And so if we don't have skills and breathing techniques and whatever our grounding practices are, or reflection practices are, to be able to understand our emotions and then deal with them, let alone deal with, people in our communities or our families, these conversations are so important to have and to share our perspectives on our emotions. And more than that, and we're really passionate about creating spaces that are really non-judgmental, unconditionally loving, grace-filled spaces where we can open up and share. Like, flowing on your own and being in isolation, it's relatively easy. And you can feel like, I got all my shit figured out. And then as soon as you get into a relationship or a situation, that's when the real work happens. And it's easy to flow on your own. Flowing with another and then flowing in community is a whole other story. And so having spaces where we are really creating some sort of structures around having these conversations and holding space for one another is really essential. And the other reason we are so excited about working together as well is there's a lot of spaces that are like women only spaces, that are safe spaces for women to open up, and sisterhood type of communities. And there's more brotherhoods as well. And there's such a great power in bringing so many generations together and gender together in these spaces to bring all of our perspective into these types of conversations. So yeah, emotion, it's the contrast. Like, a lot of us have had really dark upbringings. This, like we talk about, this is a dense planet, and thoughts of like, why am I here, and maybe I should leave here, and these types of thinkings that come from these darker emotions. And if you can hang in and transmute all those emotions, then you get to experience the contrast and the elation and the bliss and that part, I think, is just a really beautiful thing to experience and to live this human journey and to experience a full spectrum of emotion.
The full spectrum of emotions.
Full spectrum.
What a great ending. But yeah, we felt this calling. It's been there our whole lives. For all those that are conscious right now and are waking up, there's this calling inside us, that calling for adventure, to step into the unknown, and to go out and do to go out and feel that thing, that call for adventure, to go out and to experience all these different emotions, and to open up that box and to pull the rug open of all these emotions that were kept under the rug and kept hidden for so long. And we're doing it. We pulled the rug has been pulled, and now all these emotions are coming up, all these deep emotions that have been there for a very long time, now coming to the surface to be cleared out. And that's what's cool about being a human, is we get to experience a full spectrum of emotions, and we're able to learn so much from those emotions. It teaches us so much on a soul level, and it does wonders for the collective by going in, experiencing that full spectrum of emotions, experiencing and going through all those dark emotions and healing from that. It's extremely powerful. Very, very powerful thing. And that leads me into Brother Rome.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you very much. Thank you, Newer, for this space that you created for us. Yeah, it's interesting. I got every one of you had made such good, valid points. I don't even know if I should even dare to repeat. It's a hard act to follow, you guys. Healing from emotional wounds. Well, if we chose to come down here and we realize it's all part of the experience, and we start off with a neutral set, and it's really our parents and our friends' mistakes that teach us all our troubles. Healing from it, I think, is a lot is just acknowledging it and understanding that it is just an experience. It doesn't, yes, it's emotional. It has emotional attachments. But does it have to be emotional? Because I think once you step out of your what you're feeling about it and what you're thinking about it, and you can look at it from a different perspective, that's where you start to heal. My thoughts are, there's a tremendous amount of effort that goes to being a human, and we all make so many mistakes. Healing ourselves from the mistakes, or healing from the mistakes from others that have put troubles on us, it could be a difficult thing to do, because you have to mirror that feeling and love that person just as much as they should be feeling and loving you. It's hard sometimes to forgive somebody for something that they've done to you, or heal from something that someone else has done from you. For myself, it's always been just a path of love, right? Just to acknowledge that people are human, that we're all one, that love is the answer to it all. And not always to have such high expectations because everybody else is on their own path. But for me, acknowledging that it's really just an experience. And if you can look at it from that perspective, that it is just an experience. And sometimes the pain doesn't hurt as much. You can put a different perspective around it and start to heal from that. At least that's with Sunny. That's the way that I've been doing it.
Yeah, I feel like seeing it as like an experience like that, it gives you that mountaintop view. I call it the mountaintop view, where if you have the little village down below, and you have the mountaintop view up here. If when you're down in the village streets, you can't see when you're stuck, when you're down in there in the swamps, you can't see around the corner. You don't know what's around the corner. You can't see it. But when you see it as an experience, and it puts you in that third person perspective, and it puts you in the mountaintop view where you're able to see around the corner. You're able to see, oh, okay, so this is what was triggering me. This thing is what was causing this emotional outburst, or whatever it may be. And it allows you to see the situation, and see the situation from a completely, at a whole new elevated perspective, and it makes it much easier to heal from it by not being in the swamp. And I know the Flow Network and I were talking about this earlier, where it's hard to know you're in the swamp when you're in the swamp, because you can't see when it's hard to see when you're in the swamp. But someone that is not in the swamp is able to clearly see, oh yeah, like he's going through his shit. He's going through some shit right now. Like, he's in the swamp. And seeing it as just that experience like that, it allows you to get that third person view on the situation, and to have that mountaintop view. So those are my thoughts on what you just talked about, Rome. Is there any other thoughts that anybody like to bounce off that?
So I was gonna note that the way that you guys are saying that, like the mountaintop view, or in the swamps too, one way I really love to look at it is as like a glass of water, like the saying, it's glass half full or glass half empty. Like, you're feeling the glass half empty. You are literally in the glass half empty. But like, if you take a second, instead of like, oh, like, woe is me kind of emotions, and take a second to be like, okay, what can I learn from this? And you kind of turn it into something more positive, to like, for example, boundaries. I can learn boundaries from this. Like, I need to learn to, set something this way, or express something this way, communicate something this way. So if you kind of take that perspective change from glass half empty of, oh, this sucks, into like, okay, like, thought I healed that, whatever, like, what can I learn from this? You know what I mean? So kind of that same mountaintop swamp perspective.
I just realized because I can never really tell what context we're using for these conversations. I just love the opportunity just throwing in blind and going, oh yeah, I don't know what that was about. But the thing that I will say that's helped me, I've had a mentor for a long time who's taught me all kinds of techniques to deal with things at the high level, and then get right down to the deep stuff. And the interesting perspective I've found is that through that process, I've learned I've learned how to listen to what's going on in what I'll call my space or the bigger space, to the point where I am now able to hear things and see things and feel things that I wasn't able to hear, see, and feel before. And I am now of the opinion that everyone has that ability. It's about being receptive to going on a journey to recognize it's only about 2% of the stuff we run into that's ours personally. Everything else we run into is what we share with other people on the planet at this point in history. And as COVID goes, and as the literally the energy on the planet is actually moving, Schumann resonance is going up, we are actually bouncing around like crazy, owning other people's shit all over the place and thinking it's ours. So most of the stuff, let's say 98% of it is just us responding to the energy that's on the planet right now. So when we can actually start to go on this journey and start to be a little bit more compassionate with the fact that everyone's on the frying pan, sparking all over the place most of the time. And the only time they're not sparking is when they're up in the air, because they're actually getting away from the heat. And so we're having that dance that's going on the planet around the surface of the planet. Naturally, we have climate change as an issue because we are one with the earth. And, New Earth is very much about this. So the earth is kicking up a storm. We're kicking up a storm. And I would suggest that we're just started down that path right now. I think it's going to start to heat up, using that metaphor. And when we can actually become more comfortable with the fact that the majority of stuff that we're feeling, the sensations, images, feelings, thoughts that we're experiencing, they're not ours. They're everybody else's. And instead of actually owning theirs and reacting and all over the place, we can actually start to adapt to the fact that we are meant to be able to go and sense other people's stuff and imagine in the same way and as a collective. And we have the emotions that are the collective, and we have thoughts that are just the collective. Once we can settle into that, we can act as a collective interdependently. I think that's what we're really all about. That's what this whole notion of being on the planet at this point in time. This is a difficult ticket to get, to come to the planet at this point in time when everything's all heating up. So, here we are, let's make the best of it. And we have all the stuff we picked up on the way through and all the ancestors and the wonderful things. And apparently we spent time looking at this and trying to figure out and calling in all you folks to help. Can you piss me off one day? So when I actually get pissed off, I get a chance to actually deal with something I would never deal with. But then later, maybe I piss you off and then you forgive me. And then we have all this stuff. But that's how it works. That's been my experience. That's the mini version of that is businesses. You got people popping off all over the place. They all started off really liking each other, except then they start binging each other's buttons. And then you have a community that is a community like this. Then you have a little town, and then you have a country, and then you have a planet. So specific to that context, that's the context I always live in at this point in time. So being dinged isn't such a personal thing because it hurts like shit. And I don't like feeling hurt like shit without any understanding of, okay, so I'm actually healing myself as well as the people in the cancer clinic, as well as the people who are out there, trying to break into a hotel to get some TVs to sell because they don't have enough money to feed themselves. Everybody's doing the best they can. And that's what I think. I think that for me has been a stance I've had for a number of years that just makes it possible to be of service to everybody that's in need. Because hell, I've been in need and I've had a lot of people help me. And, this is my turn to be able to go do the same thing. And I'm starting to appreciate that maybe we're all in that same journey, helping each other out, doing the best we can.
Get by with a little help from our friends.
Ooh, I get by with a little help from there's Flow Canada. We're just singing like crazy up here.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And yeah, what you said with your motivations to go out and be a service to others, that resonated with me a lot. As whenever I first started creating content for the first time, conscious content, and sharing my voice and stuff like that out there, I thought to myself, I was like, like I knew how I felt whenever no one was there, and like there were these different accounts out there that were kind of guiding me and like pushing me towards the way and showing me like this knowledge and stuff, and that helped so much. And And I remember what it was like when no one else was there, when I didn't know where, like I was looking for all these answers. I didn't know, and I felt horrible, and there's just nobody there. And that was one of my main motivations. I wanted to be there for people that were going through their awakening and didn't know like what the hell was going on. And I just wanted to be that support structure and that beam of light, the shield. And that's really my motivations behind creating content and being of service to others. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Hey, Sonny, I wanted to touch base on something that Tim said. He just kind of scratched the surface, but Tim, you mentioned about, all this stuff that we're feeling. It's not all us. And this brings us back to some of the other sessions we've had on Wednesday here on New Earth about some of the other awakening indicators. There is a raise of emotions, and there is an empathic feeling that we're getting from other people, your receptors. And as you go through these awakening indicators, these things are all new. Healing your past is just another one of them. And we've mentioned before that they can come one at a time. They can come all at once. They don't have to come in any directed order. And in most cases, especially with the healing part, it's so much fun because when you think it's done and it's over with, it comes right back at you. So just keep this in mind. I know there's a lot of people out there listening to this in the record and on live that, we've gone through this. Most of us here have gone through this, but if you haven't experienced it yet, it can be quite confusing and overwhelming. So just try to pull back and realize where it's all coming from. Thank you for that.
Thank you, brother Rome. But yeah, like it's all you think you healed that, and you're like you're flying high, and you're like, oh, I'm all good. I'm fully healed. And then you keep stretching, then bing, ding, 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 ding. You get dinged again. You get dinged with some triggers, and you're like, oh shit, back down to the swamp we go, and go down to heal it, and then process continues, and it continues on and on and on and on. It keeps going, and it's quite the journey, quite the adventure, and it can be very, very painful, but it can also be very, very fun for the most part. Are there any other final thoughts that anybody has before we move on to the meditation? No, cool, sweet. We get a quick drink of water, and we'll move right into it. In the meantime, get relaxed, get super relaxed. Take a couple deep breaths, sigh, give it out a big sigh. Feel your shoulders starting to relax. Couple deep breaths. Nice glasses, Rome. Looking good.
Rome, you need some 5D glasses.
I'll wait for Sarah to send me some.
Rad. So get into a comfortable position, whether that be lying down, sitting down, maybe doing a handstand, whatever floats your boat. Feel your shoulders begin to relax. Relax your feet, your toes, your hands, fingers. Allow your eyelids to relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Breathe it out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And with each breath that goes by, feel yourself getting to relax more and more. As you feel more and more relaxed, allow yourself to feel more and more connected to Mother Earth. Imagine this beam of light going through your entire system, all the way from the top of your head and into the cosmos, all the way down through Mother Gaia. Take notice of the effects that this beam of light has on your being. And feel the connectedness that it has with the cosmos, you, and Earth. Now, I would like for you to imagine this white ball of light slowly spinning and levitating right on your crown. Now feel it slowly begin to move through your crown into your third eye. And through your throat. And into your heart. Allow yourself to feel all of the healing energy that this ball of light gives to you. Now imagine the light slowly moving down to your solar plexus, into your sacral. And as this ball of light moves down through your being, feel it healing all of your body parts, your cells, and your DNA. Feel this light slowly healing baggage and the wounds that you have been carrying. As this ball of light moves down to your root, grounding this healing energy into the earth. Now I would like for you to return to that beam of light that is sticking down through the cosmos, through you, and into Mother Earth. Allow yourself to let go. Whatever may be holding you back, allow it to go down through this beam of energy into Gaia. Mother Gaia, clear, heal this energy, help you heal it, transmute it into love. So whatever you may be holding on to, imagine yourselves holding it in your hands, slowly letting it go into this beam of light. And remember, you can always connect with this beam of light at any time in the day. It is always there. When you feel called to, begin to slowly open your eyes. Take a couple deep breaths. Move the shoulders a little bit. Move the fingers, toes. It's quite a beautiful journey that we're on here on planet Earth. It's pretty cool. Can be challenging at times, but it's pretty cool. So thank you for coming to the New Earth Project live show. Much gratitude to you and to you all. It's awesome connecting with every single one of you in the Zoom call and those watching. It's been awesome connecting with you all. And if you haven't already, join us on all social media platforms and join our Telegram and Discord community. We're having a good time over there. And you can find those links in the description down below. And look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Much love and peace.